Hi beauty fam, I got my hands on the new Hermes Sun-Kissed Healthy Glow Powder Face and Cheeks. Super excited to try this out. I have it on my face. I demo what it looks like with the blush alone and then the bronzer contour, and then I kind of swirl all of it together so you can see if it's going to be for you if you're a similar complexion as me. Is it worth it? It's a lot of money. I'll let you know what I think. Put it in a cute bag for me, so you don't have to necessarily buy it from Hermes to get the nice packaging. If there's a retailer that you can go to that does have an Hermes boutique or a gondola, like, they will put it in these Hermes ubiquitous orange bags. She threw in Rose Spice one. That's what's on my lips here. You can see depending on your skin tone, it's going to show up differently, and that's how it shows up on me. This is like, it almost shows up a little bit rosewood, a little bit orange. I love, this is my favorite Hermes lipstick color. And then she threw in 2 cute sample sizes of perfume. And I've never tried Hermes perfume. This one, Un Jardin sur le Nil. It looks, I did smell that it does have like floral fruity scents, and the twill, it just smells good. These are so pretty. This is what the bottles look like. The Le Jardin, Un Jardin sur le Nil. Very fruity floral, but not cloyingly. It's beautiful. And then twilly, I want to say smells like, ooh, it definitely, it's stronger. Definitely fruitier. I like it. It smells like a little bit like a berry, maybe. This is, I believe, the spring summer release, and it comes with this release of the Sun-Kissed Healthy Glow Powder Face and Cheeks, and I'll put the price below. Rays of Golden Light Soleil d'Hermès powder bathes the complexion in an orangey pink light. The reddish reflections of Brun Segai Hermèsistible infused care oil dance on the lips, while Brun Helios nail enamel illuminates the hands with a coppery warmth. So when I went in store, only 2 of the 3 lipsticks were available. The price of these lipsticks have gone up so much since I started buying makeup, and I thought I might want one of the 2 colors, either Brun Sunset or the lighter one, Beige Cocktail. So I'm so glad I went in store because I had the sales associate let me try them, and the Beige Cocktail was basically like concealer lips. So I didn't get to show you because I just didn't feel like filming at that point. And then Brun Sunset was basically my lips but better, but it really was indiscernible from my actual lip color. It wasn't flattering. It didn't look like it added any pink. If anything, it actually muted my lips. So even though initially Brun Sunset was in my inbox, I decided not to get it. And I'm so glad I listened to my instincts that this year I really don't want to buy things sight unseen unless I get to swatch them or try them on in real life. And then the other one that is available is Rose Bungalow, which is probably the brightest one. And I thought that might be okay on me. I put it on my lips and it was just too orangey red, and I don't really like orangey reds. I actually recently bought an orangey red. I think I can't find it. It's in my pile of makeup here. So my other most recent purchase was a Chanel orangey red color, and I really honestly have not been reaching for it. So again, I'm like shopping my stash, knowing what I have in my collection, and I wasn't going to buy a $90 lipstick, especially if I don't use that color a lot, if it's not unique. And then I literally bought the Chanel one, which looked like the same shade to me. So although I love the packaging, I'm not buying things for packaging or things that are just going to go away. I also have like 4 Hermes lipsticks already that I still have not finished. And my favorite one is the one I have on my lips now. And I thought this would be such a perfect shade for this collection. It's depending on what I'm wearing and then what I have on my face. It does have like a perfect pinky brown color. And this is the shade Rosacea 21. And I'll do a little bit of a swatch for you here. And I love this color. I have brown lip liner on, and just so you can see how it grounds the look, I just think it's perfect. So I kind of knew that I had this color at home, so I chose not to buy the lipsticks, especially since things are $90. When I started buying Hermes, I want to say these were $60 before. I actually can't remember, but they definitely were not $90. So in this release, I think there's at least one infused care oil, and I believe the color is Rose Nashi Hermèsistible. It is for the spring summer 2026 collection. And then the other color is Brun Segai. It's very pigmented. So these also retail a little bit higher than what I would want to pay for lip oil, $63. I'm interested in trying these at some point, but I think I might wait to get these on sale. I do think these might be limited edition. I think what also kind of gave me pause is that I do know that Hermes tends to have fragrance in their products, but not cloyingly sweet, or it's not offensive. I found their Hermes products, even if they do have perfumer scent, it tends to go away after a while. The nice thing about Hermes is that they come out with some really unique colors for lipstick and especially nail polish. So I don't even know if they had all 3 testers at Nordstrom when I was there. One is like a little bit of a coral, the other is like a peachy orange, and then one is more of like this deep orangey brown color. And Brun Helios is the only one I can see that is on the website now. It is a beautiful color. If I were to get any nail polish, that's the one I would get. However, $66. That's the question I had for you. Of like, are you going to use the nail polish enough that you can warrant the $66? So I generally don't wear much nail polish anymore. And if I do my nails, I'm just so terrible at doing my nails. I actually try to go into the salon and get shellac because I have really brittle nails. And so I have stopped altogether from buying nail polish. And I'm saying that so I can hold myself accountable. So for out of this entire collection, I only got one product, obviously, which is the powder. And I think that's probably the one that everybody is going to want. It retails $121. It is pricey. Again, luxury beauty has gone up. Right now, as of the filming of today on their website, Hermes, it is sold out. And I just happened to go into Nordstrom that day downtown, and they had the display. And I said, ooh, they have it, so I can swatch it because I'm not sure if I want it, if it's actually going to show up on me. And the essay behind the counter said, ooh, can I help you? I'm like, I'm looking for the powder. Do you have the powder? And she's like, I don't know. It's really popular. Wait a second. She's like, I think someone, yeah, she might have held it and then decided to let it go. And I was like, I want it. So she's like, let me look and make sure it's untouched. She took it out, showed me it was not swatched, it was not touched. And I said, that is what I want. And so I was so excited. It was a long shot. I had not planned to go into Nordstrom that day or visit Hermes, but I just happened to be on my lunch break. And so I'm like, Kismet, if it's there, I'm going to get it. So let me tell you some information about the product, the creation. The Spring Summer 2026 Hermes Beauty presents a limited edition collection for the lips, complexion, and hands, designed by its creative director, Grégoris Puripolis. The collection draws inspiration from the shifting, flamboyant colors of a sunset as it marks the passage from scorching day to balmy night. Soleil de Hermès Radiant Healthy Glow Mineral Powder warms and illuminates the complexion with a subtle, faintly golden shimmer. Made in Italy. The color, Soleil de Hermès, is a harmonious combination of warm shades, delicately iridescent and recalling the subtle graduate hues of a sunset. The light, delicate texture of Soleil de Hermès adds warmth to the complexion, a radiant, healthy glow that blends into the skin. The round case, a white and gold disc of light designed by Pierre Hardy, is richly distinctive inside. Inside, Soleil de Hermès powder offers a subtle pattern of fine lines evoking silk twill and overlaid with the OPH design, where interpreted to recall the rays of sun. And they actually have a how to use section. To warm the complexion, use the brush to their brush, which I did not use, to collect and apply all the shades with a broad intuitive gesture, basically using all of the shades at once to emphasize the features of the face. Follow a two-step application. To sculpt facial contours, use the brush to apply the two shades from the lower part of your compact, which are the bronzer brown shades, and then to enhance the cheekbones, use the Le Précis brush to apply the two colors from the upper part of the compact. I'm on the fence about this product, but I really remember that I really love my bronzer, and I was hoping it would be similar in formula. This is one of my favorite bronzers. This is their Hermès bronzer, and it's been out of stock in some places. And I found this to be, out of my entire bronzer collection, to be the most blurring. I have it in shade 04. I could go to 03. I think it was Atlas. I did do a review of that. I picked up two of the bronzers, and this is the deeper one. And I could have gotten away with the lighter one, but in the summer, I tend to get darker or deeper, and I didn't want to have to work for my bronzer. So I'm starting to get deeper because I went away on vacation. So I was really excited to try this formula because this bronzer has been the most blurring bronzer in my collection. So the size is the same in terms of the packaging. So you get the classic Hermès circle. It's the same size. It says 0.63 ounces of product. And I'll show this to you side by side because this is the only Hermès powder product I have. So this is the comparison. So you can see right off the bat, like, I tend to go for bronzers that are deeper, and I no longer own the Atlas one, so I can't compare it. I will try to find a bronzer that's actually a little bit closer to the bronzer, which will be, for me, the top shade. This one in the middle, when I swatched it, it was almost my skin color, but almost a little bit too, I don't want to say sallow, but it was a little bit maybe too olive or gray cast on me. So this wouldn't work as a bronzer. So my plan is to mix these two as a bronzer, and then I want to see if I can show the two different blushes separately if I can. So I'm grabbing my go-to matte bronzer, and it's actually pretty similar. This is the Victoria Beckham Matte Bronzing Brick in 03. On the left is the Warm Sand shade, that's the bronzer, and on this side is the Contour Soul. So maybe they meant to be that middle shade for Hermès to be a contour shade, but for me it won't work. But I think this might be the closest. Yep, I think for the shade, bronzing shade, it's the closest to 03 in the Victoria Beckham. So I'm gonna try this side, the Sun one, which is more coral, and then the pink on this side. So I'm just gonna kind of pinch the ferrule and see how much I can get of that. And so this is good for you all to see, because it's like in a day-to-day, you know, application, am I gonna have enough patience to just try to do this individually? I've seen people on Instagram talk about how they're just gonna swirl all of this together. So we'll see, but I want to try these individually first. So I'm going into that Coral Peach shade, and I'm lowering my ring light a little bit because I think I'm a little bit blown out. So I'm looking at the monitor. I think this is actually more my true shade. And we'll see if this is actually buildable in my skin tone. So in the winter, I'm more of like a 3WO, like a light medium warm olive, and then since I'm starting to get tanned, I'm definitely more of a 4 warm olive, like a deeper medium warm olive undertone. So what I'm doing is actually just trying like I'm drawing into this like little divot. So you know, the design's pretty. Is it functional? No, because if you're trying to individualize the individual blush colors, it's going to be hard. Okay, so I have to be honest, I barely see it. I can see a sheen of some powder, but I'm barely seeing any sort of like coral color on there. My thought was hopefully this is buildable. When I did the swatches, I definitely had to build them. Okay, now it's just starting to show a little bit, but it's very like barely there kind of color. I think if you're my skin tone or deeper, this is going to be really hard to show up, or you just use it in a different way. You just might use this as like a all over kind of powder is my guess. I think this is probably a shade that's going to be better for someone who's a lighter complected than me. Okay, again, I'm just swirling the circle. That's all I'm doing, is just trying to get into that circle here. So I've gone in 4 times already. It's kind of a barely there shade. Can you see it? This is no product. There's some product here. I think you can see a little bit of it. It just kind of gives me a healthy sheen. I'm not mad about it, but I just want to like curb my expectations and your expectations if you're going to get this product. Okay, so I'm going into through like, probably is at that 5th or 6th time. Okay, it is buildable, but I mean, you have to be super patient in all honesty. But it's really pretty. It's pretty. It reminds me a little bit of Chanel Quad that came out a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, the quads of the cheek palette, and I'll show it to you in a bit. And I can't really put it up because one of those shades fell out. Okay, so it reminds me of that color. The peach one reminds me of this palette here, and that it's peachy. I love this palette. I made the mistake of traveling with this and one of them fell out with one of these little pans, so I can't really show you all, you know, I can't lift it up a lot for you. Okay, so now I'm going in with like a 6th time so you can see it's just giving me a really healthy glow. And I think this is what this product is really built for. Sun-kissed healthy glow powder face and cheeks. Okay, so I just want you to see what it looks like. The peach side, and peaches and oranges tend to be my shade. It's a very light application, but I think it's very pretty. I'm grabbing the Lotus series for the pink side, and again, I'm gonna have to pinch the ferrule on this to just get the pink, and I'm just kind of dragging it over where that pink shade is. And there's definitely more real estate on the pan to get this pink shade. So that is what is picking up. I'm able definitely to pick up more of the pink. So that's one application. The pink side and the orange side. Pretty. I almost think that the orange has a little bit of iridescence in it. Again, I haven't seen anyone's review. I try not to do that. If I know I'm going to get a product, I try not to watch anyone's YouTube reviews and whatnot, because I don't want to be like biased or influenced. I want to create my own opinions and opinions. So here's a second application of the pink. Very pretty. So the pink is easier to build up, and I think it's more just because there's more of that pink product in the pan. But I'm going to show you what's already happening is that I tried to isolate, I don't know if you can see it, the pink, it's starting to spill on the middle pan, and I kind of blew that away, which I know is not hygienic, but I just went ahead and did it. So yeah, if you're going to try to like isolate the little colors, the 4 colors, it might be a challenge, right? Like on the daily, just for the review purposes, I'm separating it. And realistically, in my daily life, I'm not going to take this much effort. I'm probably going to swirl the 2 colors together or swirl the whole thing together. Okay, so this is the second application. I want you to see how if it can be built up. So it's definitely showing up on me. Medium tan light. I don't know how to describe it, but I know there's people who are more tan than me. So I'm more like a little bit tan, but on the lighter side. So I'm going into the pink again. This will be the third application. Okay, so I'm definitely seeing a little bit of a sheen. It's not shimmery. It's like almost as like an inner glow. It reminds me a little bit of the Hourglass palettes where they're not necessarily shimmery, but they have like a little bit of like glow iridescence to the products. And those are like my top shelves. Like I love this one. Okay, so this side is the pink side of the palette. And then this side is the orange side of the palette. And if I were to pick one, I actually prefer the orange side just because I think that suits my skin tone better, but I think they're both really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go into the pink side one more time. Again, I'm just pinching the ferrule to get the pink because I want you to see if it's buildable. So unfortunately, I don't have Hermes blushes. I just never got on the train for Hermes blushes. I actually have a lot of blushes, but the reason I got to this product is because, you know, there's like 4 products in here. So I was really interested in this, but I'm also really interested in kind of like glow products like powders, because especially this time of year, I think they can look really pretty. Wow. Okay, so the pink is definitely buildable. And let me put on some lipstick because my lips are so dry. Okay, I threw on some lip gloss, or this is the Suku, what is this called? The treatment wrapping lip. I want to moisturize my lips. Okay, so here is the pink side. And this is the coral orange side. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it in real life. This is definitely more pink. This is more coral. I'm going to go into that coral again just because, again, I favor that side. Here are the colors. So what I'm going to do now, and I already told you that the I don't think that middle shade is going to show up on me because I actually think it's too light. Whereas the bronzer underneath, that's more similar to, I would say, the Victoria Beckham 03 shade. So I'm taking a Surratt angled brush. I don't remember the name or number of this, but it's the Surratt squirrel hair brush. What I'm going to do is actually just kind of swirl, or not swirl, but just take both of these shades. The bottom once again, because it's too light for me, the middle one. So I'm kind of concentrating most of the padding from the bottom swoop here. And then that is what it picked up. Very subtle. Ooh, it's pretty. I think there's like a little bit of a sheen on this. Okay, so I don't think it's blurring for sure. It's not the same formula, I don't think. I'm just going to venture to guess. It's probably not the same formula as the regular bronzers. I think there's definitely a glowy sheen. I'm going in a second time with the bronzer just swirled. Okay, do you see a difference? I'm definitely more chiseled. I think it's really pretty. And it's glowy, but it's not iridescent to the point of, oh, the Dior ones. It's actually reminding me a lot of the Dior Glow bronzer, which they just came out with this product. I'm assuming, I don't know, I haven't seen anyone's reviews of it. It seems like they keep repurposing this formula. And apologies, this is, I use my products. This is Dior Forever Natural Bronze Glow. This is the one that's coral, and they came up with one with that beautiful daisy packaging, which I'm so tempted, but in all honesty, because it's makeup, it gets dirty. This used to be so clean and pretty, and because it's makeup, it's like gotten kind of gross, but not gross, it's just makeup. So it reminds me a lot, this product reminds me a lot of this product. So I'm wondering if this is the niche that they're trying to go to. And obviously this is a little bit deeper. Ooh, I might do a comparison video of this. Let me know if you want me to do a comparison video. Okay, so that is that side. And I would say it's not like a chiseled contour bronzer. It's very subtle. And it's very, very subtle, very elegant. And I think that's kind of like the brand of Hermes. It's not meant to be like super shockingly contrasty or instant payoff like Victoria Beckham, which is more chiseled and editorial. So I'm going again, so this side to see how that looks. Okay, going in a second time, again, just the bottom 2 shades. There, you can see it. So it takes me 2 applications to get a sense of like bronzer contouring going. So pretty. I can see why people want this product. I mean, obviously I wanted the product. I bought it. At first I was like, no way, this is kind of a ridiculous price. But the more I kind of thought about it, I was like, I don't have any Hermes blushes or powders, so maybe I can use this in a creative way because it's makeup. Pretty. Oh, really pretty. So what I'm going to do is actually, now that I've a little bit more chiseled with the bronzer, I do like this look. Wow, it's so pretty. I'm actually going to like do this. I'm going to swirl all of this together and kind of just go over my nose and see what happens. Okay, it creates kind of like this very subtle, like really sun-kissed kind of look that I've been out on vacation. Skin is healthy. It's beautiful. My skin looks really, really good. I do prefer this side of the blush, but I can see why people might want to combine the colors, because in reality I'm probably not going to fuss for the individual blushes on a day-to-day basis. So why don't we do this, because this is marketed as a face and cheeks palette. So face, meaning anywhere on my face, I can use this theoretically on my eye. So what I'm doing is trying to find a squirrel hairbrush, and I'm going to go in, actually I'm just going to swirl the 2 shades together, and I have nothing on my eyelids other than just like translucent powder, and see what that looks like. Oh, nice. Yes. So this can be brought as kind of like a face palette in a way. It's much smaller than the Hourglass, that's for sure. I tried traveling with that Chanel quad, the 4 quads as a face palette, and because it's so delicate, it broke. So I won't be doing that again. Pretty. I don't know if you can see it. Basically, I'm using it, the 2 deeper shades, the brown shades, as eyeshadow. And that's always a quick hack. Like if you're ever traveling or you're, you know, you just don't want to fuss with your makeup, like you can use any brown or bronzer from your palette. So that is with some bronzer in the crease. And excuse this little milia thing I have going here. I'm going to be seeing hopefully the dermatologist soon because it bothers me so much. It actually kind of hurts. And then so I'm going in to the other side. Really beautiful color. It does show up on me. It's kind of like the perfect, like not too wow pow bronzing shade. It's definitely very subtle, but it shows up for me. I hope it's coming up on the camera. I lowered my ring light just so you can see a little bit more of the makeup. Hopefully it's showing. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually take some I'm taking this as a Sonia G worker brush, and I'm going to actually now see it's small enough I can go into that sun motif here, and that's there we go. Can you see? That is the sun motif right here. And then I'm going to go into that and just kind of use that. pretty. So since this is the coral side, I just wanted to put the coral over here. I would say this is very subtle, elegant beauty. I'm just going to flip the brush for the other side and go to the pink, because this is a kind of a builder brush. This is the pink side. And yes, it's not billed as an eyeshadow, but you know, it says it's a face and cheek palette, so why not? And that's how I would probably use this, like on vacation. I would grab this, and if I didn't want to bring a lot of makeup, I would just bring this, and I think I would be good. Okay, so I don't know if you can even see the difference. This is the sun part, the coral, and this is the pink side. Really, really beautiful. And tell me if you like this side more or this side more. This is the one with the peach blush, peach coral, or the pink side. I'm going to swirl like the blush on top just together. I'm not going to separate at this point. I'm just going to use my brush and kind of tap both blush colors to see if it shows up. Oh yes, it does. Okay, so for those of you, if you're wondering, like, is it gonna show up on me? If we're similar skin tones or if you're lighter, it's definitely going to show up on you. And it's definitely buildable. And so I'm just kind of showing you, I'm probably over blushing, but I just want you to see, like, you can use this as like a really light wash, or you can really build this up. So pretty. Okay, so I think that's as much blush as I want to put on. There's definitely a sheen is what I'm seeing. I think it's more of the peach side of the coral. There's like a little bit of sheen in here. And then now what I'm going to do is actually, do I want to do it? Do I want to mix all of it? Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to mix all of this to see what happens. And you may or may not be able to see anything. We'll see. Okay, it's definitely is like putting blush on this side. Let's see how this is looking. Okay, I think it just really adds kind of like a healthy glow sheen. I think I do prefer separating the blush from the concealer or bronzer, just because that's just my preference of how I do makeup. But if you're one of those people that don't want to fuss and muss, you can combine both of these. But I think just my first impressions, I would rather separate these two to be bronzer and then use the two as blush, because together they're beautiful. So I grabbed my favorite Hermes lipstick. This is the shade Rose a Piece or Rose Spice, and it's kind of like this pinky orange. No, it looks more like pink on me. I'm gonna add a little liner. Okay, that's more my speed. Wow, that looks really pretty. Rose as Piece or Rose Spice. I just used a little bit of the Lisa Eldridge Sculpt in Shade Lip Pencil 3N. Usually use 3N or 2N, but those are the products of Hermes on my face. Either at any of the retailers or Hermes, I will post the link as soon as this goes on sale again. It's been kind of in and out of stock at Nordstrom, so I think that's maybe the lucky thing that you could do is just kind of follow Nordstrom and check once in a while. You can download the app, or you can also go to the Hermes website and then enter yes, it is out of stock at this time, but you can put your information in, and then they are supposed to send you a notification if it comes back in stock. But when things get stocked, especially since they're at high demand, I will usually put it in stories or in the community tab. So make sure to follow me there. I have the Hermes bronzer in 04 CN. I'm going to just swirl all this so you can see like really, it's really pigmented, so it's nowhere near the intensity. But the downside of this bronzer is that it tends to be a little bit more orange, as you can see, whereas this is very this is like a subtle wash of color, whereas the bronzer is definitely going to bronze you up. When I was using this product, I was really getting reminiscent vibes of the Christian Dior Forever Natural Forever Glow. I am not picking up the new one with the daisies because it looks very similar to what I have here. And again, I'm telling myself not to buy things that I have products of already. And as much as Dior, that compact looks so pretty, everyone's like going kind of nuts over it with it being white and then the 3D flowers or daisies and then the ladybug. If you're a collector and not going to use the product, good on you. It's gonna look pretty and unused. I use my products, and the last thing I want is a compact that is not wipeable and that's white. What's going to happen is that it's going to get really dirty, and I actually just had to clean my compact. This is like about 2 years old. If it was bad, I would throw this out already. So this used to be really clean. It was always beige, but because I've been using it a lot, it gets really dirty. So this is the shade 051 Peachy Bronze, and again, if they have this in stock, I'll put it below. But my guess is that I've heard that there's 2 different shades of this release for the Dior, is that there's a pink and orange, and I wonder if it's the same product. So this is the Hermes one here, and then I'm just going to swatch this one up here. So it's definitely giving me the same kind of vibes, if you will, but this is definitely more pigmented. I would say if you have this already, you don't have to get the Hermes one. There was like no way I can even get the blush anymore because it's literally this like mini stripe. And so I actually just use this as a bronzer, and I don't even mess with it to be a blush. What I love about this Dior product is that when I get more tan like I am now, this becomes almost kind of like what this is being marketed as a all over. So when I use this, I can use this as a bronzer / bronze blush, and it looks beautiful on my skin. So I do think that if you have something like this already from the Dior collection, you don't need this. But if you're wanting to know the difference, is that you can really get into the blush separately to have your blush separately, whereas the Dior ones you can't, just by the design. Okay, beauty fam, that's it for this review. Let me know if you are interested in this product. How do you think it looks on my face? I think it's beautiful. I'm so glad that I got this, that it was available, and that I was lucky to just be there when they had this in stock. If you click subscribe and click all so you get notifications of when my videos go live. And then tell me if you're interested in getting this collection. I know that it keeps selling out when it comes through, but I'm going to try to edit this video as soon as I can. And as always, please be very kind with yourself and others, and just be you. Until the next video, beauty fam, take very good care of yourself. Bye.